COSM ending in the green today was a very good thing. I know the aftermarket hours were actually a little difficult, but still managed to land in the green. Let's go ahead and go over the potentials for the next day now. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again on this fine Thursday evening. This is ARCa coming at you with a COSM technicals and raw price action thread of analysis. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right into the charts. Real fast before we start, actually, guys, don't fall for the comments in the section below saying for you to text me or to WhatsApp me. Guys, I will never share my information with you. I will certainly not message you first. And definitely know that it's not me, okay? Do not engage with any of those people as they are only trying to take your cash, okay, you guys? I will not trade your accounts. I'm not going to do any of that stuff, all right? Let's go ahead and now dive in. All right, so COSM on the 12-hour chart here, okay? So this is the divergence chart that we've been looking at for the RSI. So the most important thing that I have to show you here real quick before we just dive into where we usually do is that we do not have any drives of bearish divergence thus far, okay? So this is very good. This is absolutely very good. So now let's go ahead and just make sure that we can have that multi-pane up and ready for when we do come back to the RSI, which is usually the last puzzle piece to look at, okay? So let's go back. All right. So this the upside that we're facing right now still appears to be continuous alongside momentum, and also we're starting to get into that critical area, okay? We're very close with volatility, which is exactly what we were pointing at from the prior iteration right over here. So we actually made that cross above the moving average. What I mean is actually the volatility component made the cross over the moving average and continued on and up, onwards and upwards, right, to that critical volatility zone, which looks like we're on path right now, similar to what happened here, okay? We have momentum suggesting that upside. We have volatility continuing that expansion phase and getting ready to enter that critical expansion zone, which is within the 90 percentile, okay? Very good stuff here. Let's go ahead and now move on to the next chart. And this is the daily range, okay? This is where I know that the market close was at 682, very powerful close, but the after hours was around 669, I think. Yeah, 669 looks like the market close, after hours close, right? So still very good. This is something that I tweeted out in the morning, real early, saying for you to continue keeping your previous gaps in play, right? As you can see here, this is the gap that we formed back in December, actually, not October, my apologies. And you can see that we actually came back in today's range right to that support and bounced right off of it, okay? So again, we came knocking at the door of that to one spot 272 that we've been talking about for some time. This is the range that I've been looking at for quite a while now, okay? But still remember that I am also still looking at these targets for the shorter term time frame as well, particularly that 1102 target that we've been talking about for so long now, for at least 16 days now, I think. But yeah, I'm still looking at that, but we have to maintain the volume, and we have to make sure to keep all of the tiny nuances in mind, right? We have to keep them in mind so that we can make sure to validate our continuation to the upside anyway. And a good thing is that we still managed to make another higher low and another higher high on today's price action, which is very important. Okay, so let's go ahead and now move on to the next chart and validate the continuation. Okay, so a very interesting signal here coming from the 4-hour chart saying that we may be experiencing a type of pullback, but please notice that we are absolutely still tied between the bears and the bulls. It looks like the bulls are losing a little bit of steam right now. We also have the 13-day simple moving average at that 610 area. I'm not saying that we're going back there. I'm just saying that we do have several areas of support, okay? Even if we load up our SMAs, you'll see that we have some closer ones exactly here. We have this SMA 10, Please notice here that we've actually been retracing not only from the one spot 272, but we've been using the 4-hour 200-day simple moving average as a form of resistance as well. Okay, the good thing here is that we already have a very important cross happening. Okay, first of all, the 10-day simple moving average has crossed the 50-day simple, and actually, let me just, yeah, it has crossed the 50-day simple. The 10-day has now crossed that the SMA 100, and look how close we're getting to that 200-day simple moving average. I'm only going to speculate here, but it is a potential that when this SMA 10 crosses that 200, we can absolutely continue on to the upside, and you can actually see that we've been using that SMA 10. Let me block out the 13-day simple. You can see that we've used that SMA 10 several times as that form of support before a continuation to the upside. Okay, so this is still looking very good, and also the SMA 200 is now pressuring towards the upside as well. Okay. Apologies about that. Just swallowed wrong there. Anyway, so now let's go ahead and move on to the last part of the analysis. I just went over at the beginning of this video that we do not have any forms of bearish divergence, which is incredibly important and imperative for the play to continue on to the upside. 30-minute immediate short-term time frame, just like we do every single time we look at our RSI. You can see that it has made a bearish cross below the 14-day simple and is now suggesting a continuation to the downside. But please remember that 30 minutes usually live out pretty fast. 15-minute and 5-minute are suggesting the same thing too. Okay, so let's go ahead and now move on to the bi-hourly RSI. Bi-hourly RSI has made a cross below the 14-day simple, and it is, I mean, we're still suggesting a downside continuation, but we're still in critical bull control here. So this is definitely the bull strength percentile, and it looks to be corrective, and this is temporary corrective, right? So now look at the 8-hour. Let's go ahead and make sure that 6-hour isn't suggesting something different. We can, okay, good. 6-hour suggesting a downside, but please notice that the 14-day simple is right below us, and the SMA signal is bound to find support from that before a continuation to the upside, signaling that it is a temporary downside. Okay, I think the 4-hour should be the same. Yep, 4-hour suggesting that temporary downside, just like we were talking about in the Crypstex side of the indicator. Okay, I'm sorry, this was the ARC-Series Crypstex indicator, DBSI in particular, okay, that we're looking at 50-50. We are noticing that 13-day simple is below us, exponential, sorry, and also the 10-day simple moving average. So very likely we can actually come back down tomorrow to touch at about $6.45. If I were to give you a deeper range, I don't think that this would be the less probable target to reach. It would be around 6.10, but my eyeballs are actually glued onto this $6.44 zone before a continuation to the upside. Okay, I do see that as a higher probability. All right, so now let's go ahead and now move on to the daily chart here. So the daily chart is actually suggesting a little bit of weakness from the bulls, but still nonetheless not in the gravitational zone where it would put us in danger for a downside continuation. In fact, it is still suggesting an upside. Okay, so it looks like volume has slowed down just a little bit, but the upside is still being favored nonetheless. Okay, so very, very good of COSM. Let's go now to the buy daily. I want to see the buy daily. Okay, buy daily is in a little bit of a danger zone here, meaning that we're in that gravitational zone, which means we can actually face a little bit of a corrective move before a continuation to the upside, since we still have that 14-day simple below us. The 14-day simple is pivoted towards the downside right now, but we have to keep an eye on this, and this is likely to live out within a week or two. Okay, 2-day time frame is starting, these are the medium term time frames. So now it's looking like we're starting to get a little bit of weakness as well from the 3-day RSI signal, but please notice that we are absolutely at the junction between bear weakness and bull weakness, which means that we're likely to find just a gravitational pull into that following zone, being the bull weakness percentile. Okay, so now let's go to the 5-day actually. 5-day is still suggesting upside, and we are still suggesting upside on that 14-day simple moving average. And now the weekly, let's see, the weekly is still pivoted straight to the upside. So everything is still looking pretty good for COSM. Again, I think there could be a reaccumulation period to let's see. Yeah, so yesterday I was actually very clear with you that if it pulled back to around this zone, that I would gain a long position, which I did. So I actually did end up entering right in this area here. So no problems there, you guys. So we absolutely used this area of support before it bounced to the upside. I was up really early this morning so I can make sure that I did gain that entry, and it happened, and that's why I tweeted out saying that you have to keep these gaps in mind for future play. All right, so yeah, the pullback is very likely to happen to about 644. Okay, so we're looking. Let's see, 644 would essentially be the opening of the candle from today's iteration. Okay, so very likely we can see the range of 644 to about $6.28 before a continuation onto the upside. Okay, very likely we can find resistance within this area again, as the SMA 200 in the 4-hour time frame is still present. Okay, particular to our time frame right now, let's just go ahead and make sure that we don't have anything above us so that we can gain some clarity. Okay, so yeah, it looks like we've been using that 50-day simple moving average as a resistance alongside the one spot 272 at $7.28, which is very much why we haven't actually made that continuation onto the upside. Okay, so just know that there are, and we have a significant amount of support right below us. We have the EMA 7, which is the 7-day exponential moving average, SMA 10 way below us. We have that 30-day exponential moving average, and most importantly, we have this SMA 100, and it looks like our SMA 50 may be preparing to cross that. Oh, I'm sorry, this could be the, let's see. Wow, if we can ever click on, yeah, right there. I'm sorry. It looks like we're going to be crossing that EMA 30 above the SMA 10, which is actually a very bullish thing. All right, you guys. So things are still looking good for COSM. We may experience a little bit of low volume, potentially that drop to between 644 to 628 before a continuation onto the upside to test our current highs. Okay, or just a little bit higher. But still, this is the very. I told everybody that this was essentially where I was looking for, but this top target is still in my radar. All right, you guys. But I think that is going to do it for the video. If you are interested in acquiring any of the Crypstex indicators, please do so by sending me a DM either on Twitter or Discord or email, and I will gladly guide you through the process and give you the subscription packages for these indicators. Okay. Also consider opening up an account with TradingView software. The affiliate link is down below as well. As that would actually help my trading future out greatly. Okay, so with that said, I wish you well a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.